Let's have a try at this game called Dull Grey. Sits and stares into space. Ash-coloured hair arranged in a bun, eyes are watering. Give your granny a hug, says Mother. He comes, bends over to the armchair and cuddles the wizened, declining body. The old lady struggles to open her arms in response. And who is it? Who's this? She mumbles. This is your lovely grandson, Kerr. Yusha? Remember how you looked after him? How you taught him the alphabet? Letter G, geyser. Shh. Mother jests, showing splashes of water. Kyusha, the old lady pronounces the name as meaningless sequence of sound. Repeats Mother and then adds with a bit of chuckle, and the person is gone. He wants to withdraw, but Mother puts her hand on his shoulder. Stay with your granny for longer, it won't hurt. We have been living together for a year and you could have called on her yourself just once, just for a friendly chat, without my bringing you here. He stops. The old lady is wearing a green dress with flowers, patterns. It has recently been washed and smells of cheap washing powder. Kerr can hear her warm heart beating, thump thump, it's warm. Their home, 2 punky tin bunkhouses pressed against each other, their doors open to a common porch. His father built it using parts of broken robots and was very proud of his work. Now it is used as a clothes dryer, and Granny's rocker chair stands under its rusty overhang, and it's all surrounded by steam, hot springs, mountains, pale sky, and silence. Today is an important day, says Mother. We are going to choose a profession for Kerr. What? A beetle is crawling up the bunkhouse wall. It stops and slowly and thoroughly cleans its wings. It's springtime, even though snow is still lying everywhere. A profession for Kerr. They've got these rules nowadays. Program gives us options and we have to choose. Mother noisily sighs, strokes her son's back of the head. Oh, my troublemaker, what will you be? I don't even know what the fuck a tallyman is. Fuck, I'll do a lamplighter. A lamplighter, why not? It's good and useful trade, runs in the family, she says. Lamplighter, she says, a little quiet and nods. They go one after the other along the narrow metal bridge holding the rails. The bridge is shaking under their feet. Its metal sound is drowning in the quelch of mud currents. The air is heavy and humid. Mother leads away but constantly turns around just as exclaimed as some walks on Morse, silent and lost in thought. They walk for a long time. The great flame, Mother suddenly stops. What is this? A dark giant with square netted eyes is leaning over the road. Its metal spider legs are sinking in mud. Scared me to death, you stupid piece of metal, exclaims Mother. What is this doing here? Did anything explode again? This is a GOES maintenance robot. The tube fragments on its back looks like arrows in a giant quiver. Strangely enough, it is not doing anything, just turning its head, as if it is to wait for something. They curiously approach past between its legs, constantly looking around. Mother is holding her son's hand. As soon as they get behind the robot's back legs, the giant thing turns with clanking and screeching. Somewhere high above, a sandpiper flies up with an alarming cry. Oh, what is it doing? My son shrugs his shoulders. Alright, let's move on, says Mother for some reason in a whisper. The robot follows them. It pulls out its legs from the sticky mud with loud crunching sounds. Moves in several steps, dashes, often stops to turn its head around as if sniffing. Mother is nervous, biting her lip. Her hands are cold. But why would anyone get nervous? It's just a robot lost its way. Usual business. A chain of signals got broken, and the one thing to do is to go to the nearest road or wait to be taken away. Taking Kurt to school, his father helped such machines get back on their way a few times. Half an hour later, the robot's loudspeaker suddenly activates and it says in an even mechanical voice, "What profession have you chosen?" In response, Mother quickens her pace. Her son struggles to keep up with her. The robot follows them after another dash, repeats, "What profession have you chosen?" A lamplighter, Mother finally gabbles over her shoulder. It's very good, says the robot. Lamplighters are in demand. They help us make signals. Without signals, we would get lost in this dump. Mother blushes, replies, "Shut it, you dumb twat." The robot bursts in resemblance of laughter. Its voice is still unemotional and mechanical. His father was a good lamplighter, we remember him. The station is right ahead at the bottom of the crater, black, massive, drowning in steam. Lines of rods protruding from its flat roof that looks like a gigantic hairbrush. Some of its teeth are occupied by spiky heads. They slowly turn, blink while charging. Some orange light goes, blinking in the fog too, as if responding to the spike heads. Some orange light, oh goddamn, I just read that one. The whole constant humming is audible. Mother waves her hand and shouts, "Hey, hello, hey, do you see us? I sent them a message on the net. They should be waiting for us," and immediately claps her hands. The net, was there any connection today? Her son snorts, pointing at spiky heads. If the servers are there, the net should be available. Ooh, but of course, she laughed. They have so many of them there. Previously, you would be happy even if one strayed into this place. I remember that just after you were born, they had to find something out about some medicine, perhaps, but unfortunately there was no Spiky around. And you wouldn't stop crying. It was horrible. She suddenly stops laughing and asks anxiously, Do you think they will accept this one? She nods at the robot behind them. Or will it trail behind us till terminal? Her son shrugs. It depends on whose shift it is today. They accepted this one and had a good laugh about how the robot characterized professions. Of course, these were the controllers. Their communication department is full of kids. They used the timetable to figure out who could stumble into their robot and decide to play a joke on you. But you know, it's spoken in such a way. Oh, don't take it too seriously. It's Aunt Tamara. She is wearing a uniform jacket and an embroidered scarf around her neck and earrings. She is sitting at a big window with Mother and drinking tea, putting cups on the corner of the table between piles of paperwork. Aunt Tamara's daughter is typing a little farther away in an armchair holding a portable computer on her lap. Her name is Yana. She is keeping her back straight and her expression stern. Son can't take his eyes off her. She notices it and shrugs her thin shoulders in discontent. Of course, she is a grown-up, 2 years older than him and already has a proper job. Behind the armchair there was handrails and a long suitcase going into the darkness of a maintenance workshop. A robot accepted for Preventine maintenance stares from the distance in the dark. They have already dismantled its legs. So where are you going now? Asked Aunt Tamara. To Thermal, to meet the navigator. Oh, the navigator is such a handsome man, and he travels in a train that I've never seen before. I even envy you. Come on, there is nothing to envy. We are bags of nerves. Aunt Tamara nods understandably. Well, joke apart, what profession have you chosen? She asked. Lamplighter, replies Mother and sighs. That's a choice? Well done, says Aunt Tamara and takes Mother's hand. They spend some time in silence. You know, after what happened, I thought, well, you know what I'm talking about. It goes without saying, well done, excellent. Mother nods. You know what, Kapka? What I also wanted to say is, we do need lamplighters because we have signal failures everywhere. We badly need them. But if your son goes away, then... Oh, why am I skating around it like a well-greased robot? No. Tamara suddenly explodes. If your son goes away, who will be left? Who else would make a decent husband? Some drunkard from the thermal? And we are a done deal. We are all settled here. She points at her daughter. Yana blushes and starts pushing the buttons with double force. The son attempts to stand up, lean forwards, but hesitates and stops in a strange position. Am I wrong? Continues Aunt Tamara. Or do you intend to become an old maid, my dear? Mother, her daughter, explains in a fit of anger, then rises loudly. I'm going to the kitchen. She motions to Kerr to follow him. Go ahead, waves Aunt Tamara. The kitchen is a poky and dark place. The only source of light is round holes in the ceiling. The door of the fridge is covered with souvenirs, magnets, and a headless robot frame sits in the corner. Don't listen to my mum, smiles Yana. It's so like her imagining things. Kerr nods. And why did you stop going to school? Yana asks. He mumbles something like, well, you see, is it because of what happened to your father? It must have been really tough. Well, why would you move to Thermal? At least you'll have people around you. Kerr repeats his usual, well, you see, and some point behind his back, your mum doesn't want to. Kerr nods. You are so untalkative. Are you afraid of me? He tensely shakes his head. Anna takes out a mirror, turns to the light, and spends some time contemplating her own reflection. Then she unbinds her hair, with a single motion and asks, "Tell me, am I beautiful?" Kerr looks at her, astonished and thrilled. Oh, she checks herself. Stop, hold on, you got it all wrong. You are still just a kid, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. I meant quite a different thing. Kerr's thoughts are in turmoil. He doesn't know what to do and what to feel. The whole situation sends shivers down his spine. The sound of Mother's loud voice comes from the workshop. You see, he wants nothing, absolutely nothing. And what do I want? What do I do? What? Yana continues. Don't say anything, no need. But let me tell you one thing. Her eyes flash strongly with emotion. You know what? Get away from here if you have the chance. You need to go away. Kerr nods and slowly and hesitantly. Tell me the truth. Who do you want to be? The lamplighter, says Mother, entering the kitchen. Get ready, Kerr. It's time to go. Gondola. A two-seated metal carriage slowly moving above a milk-white sea of steam. It creaks and rocks. The outline of the mountain are barely visible. The settlement of the terminal is on the opposite slope. They've almost arrived. Mother looks very sad, heads down, her chin resting on clasped hands. Suddenly, fog. There rises a whistling and moaning geyser. It falls down only to shoot up again, roaring and gaining strength, rising higher and higher. Gondola stops. It tripped a sensor, now it will turn into an ordeal. The net connection has been lost too. Son pushes refresh button on the tablet several times and sighs. Mother starts crying, murky tears mixed with mascara running down her cheeks. Right here, it happened right here, she whispered. Shh. But she is wrong. It didn't happen here. It happened a few miles to the north. His father was making a new signal path for the robots. Routine work done, hundreds of times. But that day, he slipped on a patch of dirt and fell into boiling water. Got boiled alive. The great flame, the great all-forgiving flame, Mother kept whispering. How could you let it happen? How? How is it even possible in the best of worlds, in just this world? They buried him a year ago. Granny, still in her senses, lit the traditional funeral fire herself. Brushed everyone away with a single swirl of a hand. This was the last dominant gesture in her life. Her eyes faded together with the last flames. Starting from the moment the three of them lived in their metal bunkhouses, away from the settlement, from other people, away from life. Mother was afraid of the geysers and wouldn't let him go to school. He had to take an online distance learning course. Robots would deliver their food. It was boring. Sometimes Uncle Corny would call on them, talk for a long time in his even voice about profession, about choice, and about something else that was important, he would say. Now listen carefully, and Kerr failed to do that every time. What will become of you, my son? Says Mother through her tears. My case is clear, I am a done deal, but you, it's breaking my heart. Kerr carefully touches still clasped hands. She looks up and asks, What will you be, Sonny? A lamplighter, she says without waiting for his reply. And you will go away into that cursed fog every day, and you will perish there one day just like your father. with Uncle Corny on a rusted balcony building. Mother is inside collecting his school supplies. What can one collect there for so long? His school shoes, his broken tablet, strange. You've got to remember the progress program is the greatest blessing and the greatest evil of all time, says Uncle Corny. He's always very polite, neat, absolutely unemotional, like a robot, even worse. Listening to him is torture. In fact, he is no Uncle to Kerr and not a teacher. He is a local technical administrator. He provides access to the net for all visitors, and the school is not really a school, rather a club. Sending children there is already no more than custom. Parents do it to make them socialize and get them out of the house. Today, Progress Program has almost unlimited control over people's lives, and it is excellent, continues Connie. We see what a wonderful fruits it yields all over the world. He makes a gesture that sweeps across the horizon. Somewhere in the distance, hundreds of miles away, there stands the city of Algova, the model city, the city of dreams. Somewhere in the distance, the fruit city. They cannot see it from here. What they can see are ramshack 5-story houses and settlements of tunnel. A flock of sandpipers flies from one house to another, maneuvering between cables. Unfortunately, each program has errors, says Connie. And in Progress Program's case, these errors are disastrous. He suddenly chuckles in a strange way. Kerr gives him a bewildered look. Excuse me, says Uncle, turning away and hastily whispering, God bless and save us all. What Kerr's father really hated was the believers in the flame who called them sick ends. But his father liked very few people. Granny, yes. Mother, perhaps. Kerr. This is why Progress Program needs independent supervisors, tallymans, continued. Of course, this is a great responsibility. You'll have to learn a lot, visit a lot of places, and gain understanding of the mechanisms that control our lives. These are very intricate mechanics. He adds with another chuckle, embarrassing himself. Trust me, it's not for nothing that they have chosen you. This means that the program detected certainly responsible traits in you, outstanding traits, and this is a great honor not for you, not just for you, but also for us, for the whole of Terminal. Getting rid of just one error, you can repair dozens. Hundreds of lives, I would gladly. Here, Uncle Corny stops and closed his eyes. Inconspicuous and neatly dressed, the bald spot on his head is still visible. Though his combed back hair, a short little man that's what he was. He calmed down, opened his eyes and asked, but tell me, the main thing, what decision have you made? What will you be? A lamplighter, replies Mother, stepping up to the balcony. Her voice sounds harsh, almost angry, but Captain mumbles it. Well, this is what we decided. She replies, Son gave us some time. We need to have a private word. Kerr nods obediently. He passes his bell, uncle, and disappears into the doorway. After he leaves, sirens start wailing in the settlement of Terminal. Now the school is empty. Sounds echo in the desolate arched halls. Walls are decorated with dull mosaic showing episodes of space exploration. Pots with flowers doubles their numbers in mirrors. Kerr is happy. that he managed to get away from adults. He wants to do the thing that he planned to do for a long time. He intends to get into mischief. Use his hacking tool. It's a program that he created a year ago, but had no time to run it because of his father's death. Now it's time to do it. Who knows what is going to happen to him after he meets the navigator. Kerr finds the terminal, his favourite cup with a cheerful robot is still inside the drawer of his desk, unwashed and stained brown. There is a layer of dust on the keyboard. The sun lights up, the program launches. A faint smile appears on Kerr's face. It's time to have fun. He goes through the profiles of his schoolmates and edits their photos. Turns them upside down, adds a mustache, horns, or an elephant's tusk. Stops on Yana's photo, looks at it for a long time. She is stunningly beautiful. He wants to draw a heart on her photo, makes an attempt but cannot find the strength to do it. Instead, he turns the terminal off and slowly shuffles back to the balcony. Kerr pushes the door open to see a strange scene. Arthur is crying and Uncle Coley hugs her, kisses her forehead and apparently says a prayer. When they notice Kerr, they jump from each other like scowled cats. So, starts Uncle Coley but gets stopped by a coughing fit. So, what is your final choice? He finally asks. A tallyman, says Mama. Quickly, without looking at Uncle Claudia, she takes Kerr's hand and they leave. The seventh ephemeral. A tiny waiting room at the rail station, armchairs with torn covers, portraits of the leaders of the past, and stuffy air. The navigator's train is late. This is a rare occurrence under Progress Program Control. This is why Mum got worried and went to the control room to ask for more information. Kerr is looking out the window, his head propped with his fist. There are pylons, mountains, cables, a big-headed station. Robot is trudging somewhere. Nothing extraordinary. There is about a dozen of dead flies between the thick, dim, double glazing. This is more interesting. How did they even get here? Kerr gets sunk in his thoughts. Hey dude, there is an unshaven fellow in a dirty leather jacket standing in the doorway. Kerr mumbles something incoherent in response. The fellow sits next to him, fidgets in the armchair and grins. You are the lamplighter's son, right? Kerr nods. Was a decent man, booms the fellow. He once slammed one of ours, really showed him hell. Decent. He smells of wine and sweat. His hands are shaking on the armrests. His feet are black with dirt. Why are you stuck out here like a sore thumb? Failing the 5-year plan. Kerr mumbles his usual way. You see. Oh, you are waiting for the navigator to choose a profession? I reckon he had a profession too. Worked at the Geos. Was a senior mechanic of the pipe shop. And then robots came and took everything away. The profession. And then the fellows gave out a sound similar to a roar of a wounded animal. And do you know who I am now, dude? Shakes his head. The fellow leans forward and says in a loud whisper, I am revolutionary. They spend some time in silence. A train whistles in the distance. Progress program is making slaves out of us, continues the fellow. We need to fight it. And do you know what our main weapon is? No. Quits, says, bursting into laughter. Half roar, half laughter. Look at me. I'm free as a bird, yet I'm in this heart of a prison. I'm giving you a good advice. You need to live this way. The revolutionary shows. Alright, dude, now tell me, what type of slavery have you chosen? Hell become a lamplighter, says Baba, coming in to the waiting room. Her voice is brisk and angry. Now get lost, scoundrel. Ha, is the fellow's only reply. Exiting the room, he adds, you'll be working your damn fingers to the bone all your life and then pop off like your father. Mother goes pale and starts chasing after him. The clink of the arriving train stops her. A tall and well-built navigator, his open coat reveals a formal ironed suit, his lips up. Purse, disimprovement. He looks around. It's dirty here, but it's fine. We'll deal with it too. We'll tidy up here as well. As he speaks, he casually brushes a fleck of dust off his shirt. Mother stares at him in fascination. What's wrong? Asks the navigator. Replies Mother, your eyes are glowing. He also noticed it. They were not eyes, but two bright blue flashlights come through the darkness with the light. I'm serious, son. Can you see it too? I noticed it before during our conversation in the net. But I thought that was an effect. What do you call it? Computer generated? But it is so in real life as well as amazing. In reply, the navigator brushes off another fleck of dust, now not so casually as before, then says, these are implants. Do you like it? Oh, exclaims the mother. I love it. I'm glad. Now please, come in, comrades. We have a serious task to do. The carriage is light and tidy. It has no windows. Lines of screens going along the walls. There is a swivel, high-back armchair in the middle. The audio system is playing classical music. Take a seat. I'll be back in a minute, says the navigator. They settle on a couch in front of the armchair, first Kerr, then his mother. They sit right on the edge with the backs straight, looking at the screens. They show people. Uncle Connie, Aunt Tamara, Yana. Can you see our old woman there? Asked Mother in a whisper. Her son shakes his head. They never installed cameras in our house. They are the rules. It's a shame, she continues. We could have had a look. I'm sure she's invited old men to have a drink about. The thought seems extremely amusing to her. She sits back on the coach, nudging her son in the shoulder. Keep your cool, Kirill. We can do it, and everything will be okay. The navigator returns. He is holding a bulged bag with Algova emerald on it. Something similar to an antenna is protruding from the bag. These are presents, he said. You'll get them after making your choice. Then he delivered a long official congratulations speech. One of the screens, it's overflowing with standard cliches such as the first big step of your life, civic responsibilities and equal importance, every person, every profession for a progress program. And it all ends with a direct path of the bright future. Finally puts his tablet aside, looks at Kerr with his glowing eyes. Intensely, inquisitively. Mother's high spirits sink awfully low by that time. Sitting with her head down, tugging her hair, looking troubled. Well, it's time to make up your mind. What profession have you chosen? The tallyman, says Mother, gives her a heavy sigh. The navigator turns from his gaze to her for the first time, stays silent for a while, starts typing something on his tablet with one hand. The probability of your setting the boy up for an unhappy future at this moment is high. His voice is emotional and empty. Are you sure about your choice? I'm not sure about anything anymore. Navigator sits back, stretches his tight neck and focuses on the car again. Alright, let me make another attempt. So what profession do you want to be? Lamplighter says mother and gives a heavy sigh. Navigator glances at the tablet. I'm afraid that you are setting the boy up for an unhappy future. Are you sure about your choice? Is there any other way? Yes. But how? What should I do? Should, echoes the navigator. Or shouldn't? He adds after a pause and stares intensely at Kurt. Hands folded in his chest, he is sitting silent, frowning. My son, I know that it all seems to be full doom to you. Continues the navigator. You see two identical ruts on a straight dull road. The road leading to old age, to death, and nothing can be changed. But it can be changed right now, regardless of what you previously thought or had. This opportunity is the greatest gift of progress program to people. You need to understand one thing. It's not only your choice that matters, but also the way you make it. You don't understand. His head shaking. You said enough. What happens next is up to you. Navigator steps back, stretches his tight neck, and focuses on the car again. Alright, let's make another attempt. So what profession do you want to be? Lamplighter says mother and gives a heavy sigh. Glances at his tablet. I'm afraid that happiness. What is this happiness of yours? There is no such thing. The navigator chuckles. My grandmother and my grandfather suffered. My parents suffered. My husband suffered. And I am suffering and Kerwin. There is no other way because this is the way it should be. There are not just moments of suffering. These are flashbacks of the Great Flames test. That we should pass on our way to eternal life. She raps it out briskly, as if she is afraid of changing her mind. Gets out of breath and ends her speech. Well, it's your business. The navigator shrugs. Makes a wide swipe on the finger tablet with his finger, and Krill becomes a in a few years, he will graduate from school, master his trade, and work in apartments for days on end. His face will become weather, beaten and rough, but scars will appear on his left hand. After his granny's death, he will continue very quickly, she was singing to he spent entire days on singing. Singers will be the used to refer to believers in the flame. They will have arguments about that. However, their arguments will be few and unethical. There will be moments of joy, so very few. One day they will take it and restore it. One day of plenary resentment, so will fly over their metal houses. Tamara and Yana will also lead a lonely and quiet life in their sunlit family. One day Yana will invite Kurt to a birthday party, and they will even dance together. Then they will write to each other. At the end of the 5-year plan period, he will suddenly notes and his tablet and write reports and letters. One day, he would wonder if the robot cleaner got broken and started making patches of dust. And the navigator would make a taking a contrast shower. He will go wiping all the screens with a cloth. But he will never be able to wipe the dull grey off them. The end. You've made Kurt unhappy. Seems like you had no other choice. It's not true. According to the program, calculations, Kurt has 11 You may be happy. Give him another chance. Thanks for playing. That was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed that. It was definitely something different. I will try and see if I can get different endings for it too. But I did really enjoy it. Other than that, I hope everyone has had a great time watching this. And if you'd like to see any of the other endings, just let me know down in the comments. Other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Says Kurt. The navigation smiles, showing his white and straight teeth. His whole face changes as if getting younger. Now you are talking, he almost purrs. That's the way. At the moment, Mother jumps up. I'm sorry, son. She sobs and runs out. Her son jerks forwards to run after her, but unexpectedly, for himself, changes his mind. Instead, he pulls together and sits up. They are left one-on-one. The navigator keeps on smiling. It's not an easy choice, I understand, but you know the answer, right? What would you like to be, Kurt? Excellent choice, he said. Makes a wide swipe on his tablet with his finger. The curl becomes a few years he'll graduate school and went to have professional studies and will almost disappear. Life is beautiful and lives. Only on Mother's birthday he will find a moment to call and talk to her. Before he managed to find his classmates, calm, straight, untouchable, and stubborn. After Kurt starts working, they will stop hearing see if we can choose a different outcome. So let's try. Let's try the unhappy lamplighter too. far, maybe.